Hey there, welcome to the Mograph Marathon class of 5. My name is Okech Christopher Anderson and I'm your teacher today. So I'm going to be taking you through the basics of easing and keyframes. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at the graph editor, which is in After Effects. Yeah. So what we're going to start with, we are going to start by creating a new composition. I'm going to be real quick. It's going to be basic. Yeah, I hope you get something while I'm exploring through this. What I'm going to start by creating a new composition. I'll come here, new composition, or press Ctrl N on your computer. That's the shortcut key for you to create a new composition. Yeah, so I'm going to paste in my color over here. My background color. Next, what I'm going to do is my new composition is going to have the size of 1920 by 1080, or the preset of it's HD TV 1080 25 frames per second. After that, I will name my comp. Let me call it Mograph MT. Yeah, so what we're going to start with, let me cut off my time over here. I give it around 10 seconds, that's enough for me. So now what we're going to start with, I'm going to start by showing you how you create a keyframe on your objects or on your elements or whatever you've created, your text or anything. So I'm going to start by drawing a simple shape. Let me use white here. I'm going to start by drawing a simple shape, which is a circle. So right now what we see is our anchor point is not at the center. You can see it over here. And how do we bring our anchor point to the center? For those that have the keyboard that has the key of the home key, you press Ctrl, Alt, and Home for you to put the anchor point in the center. For those that do not have the home key on your keyboards, what you can do is to go to the pan behind anchor points tool or press Y for the shortcut key to go there, and you're going to double click. When you're going to over it and press Ctrl and double click. When you double click, you're going to see the magic happens. Our anchor point has come to the center. So what we're going to do is we are going to center our circle. If you don't see this align tab over here, what you're going to do, you're going to come to window and go down to align here. You can see it. If it's not there, you just come to window, align, and it will pop up. So after that, if you want to center your circle, you just click on it and center it. Yeah. So I'm going to start by creating a basic movement of it, or a simple movement, to show you how a keyframe is created when you're working or dealing with any creation that you want to come up with. So I'm going to be using position. Yeah, for in case I want to move my object from the left over here to come here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create two frames which are going to help me move my object. What I'm going to do, I'm going to first move where I want my animation to stop over here, and I click on the stopwatch. I toggle on my stopwatch. Now I've set my first frame, my last frame. That's going to be your end frame. So you're going to go back at the beginning and collect data for your first frame. How are you going to do that? You're going to get the playhead and move it over at the beginning. So when you reach at the beginning, you get your movement. So as we said, we want our movement to come, our circle to come from here. So see what happens after we play for preview. That's what we achieve. Yes. So when you do that, there are two ways of achieving your movement. You either use the numbers over here, On these numbers, we have the x-axis and the y-axis. You either move the x or the y. It depends on what you want. Yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use this. That's what I've used. If you use this guy over here, or you just drag your shape to where you want it to go. You can just drag it, but you have to keep it in a straight line. If it has to be straight, if it has to come from this side down or this side, you have to keep it straight. But remember, it's going to end at our point over here, and which is this keyframe over here. So we want it to come from this side. See what happens if I play our animation. Yeah, this is what we achieve. So that's how you can easily create your simple and basic creation. So what if you go into, okay, like you find yourself that you want your animation to pause and also continue. So this is what we do. When you go to your last frame, you're going to move a few frames at the front. You go and click on the stopwatch. This is, you can copy this last frame and paste it over here, or just click over here to lock. So what this does is it's going to keep the same data. If you see if you see down here, these numbers are moving over here. These numbers are moving. If you try to move slowly, these numbers are moving if you move at the front. But if we get the same keyframe and put it over here, the numbers won't move, which means our animation is locked. So it has given us another beginning point. So what if we want it to go down this on this end? This is what we're going to do. We're going to move a few keyframes and drop it down over here. So we're going to try to separate these guys a little bit. Ba and ba. Yeah, that's what we have now. So we are going to go to the main reason for this class, which is easing. Yeah, I hope you guys have seen how you can create your keyframes on your animation. But yeah, and this works the same on other parameters, scale, rotation, opacity, but it all depends on what you want to achieve. Yeah, if you want to achieve something crazy, it all depends on what you want to achieve. So I'm going to take us to what I created here, something small to show us how easing works. And now you've seen how we've created our keyframe. So let's go to this. So I created this ball animation. Let me start with one over here. As we created the first animation, this one, just imagine that it's the same here. And the reason why I put these small bubbles is for us to see how the frames works. If I try to move around here, you can see that if we move a frame, the bubble fits, like the circle fits in the bubble very well. Yeah, so that's how we're going to see it quickly and basically and easily. Yeah, but if you need to take it off, it can be put down. Yeah, but it's for us to see. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to press P because I used position on this one, and I'm going to go. I'm going to select my keyframes, and I'm going to press F9. F9 is for easing. Or what you can easily do is to click on your keyframes when all are selected, and you go to keyframe assistant. You right click and go to keyframe assistant. You find easy ease, easy in, ease out, time reverse, convert expression to keyframes. So what we need here is easy ease. So when we put easy ease on our animation, I hope you can see that the spacing between the in ease and the out ease and the middle keyframe, it has created a certain space. I hope you can see it over here. So if I try to undo and I go back to the normal frames, I hope you see that our frames are the animation is it's linear. It's not on the Bezier curve, or it's linear. So when I press F9, you see what happens over here. It is going to become a little bit smoother. Yeah, it's going to become smooth. So what I'm going to show you now is called the graph editor, and most of the animators do not only use F9 or only use easy ease to achieve their animations or whatever they want to achieve, but I'm going to show you the advanced way of achieving smooth animations. Yeah, so what we're going to go here, we're going to go to the graph editor, which is located over here. You can see it. This is if I try to show you over here, this is for motion blur. This hides all layers. This is enable frame blending. This is for composition mini flow tab. Yeah, you explore them, yeah, as we continue. So for now, I'm going to focus on graph editor. So when I click over here, you're going to see that we have two mountains. If I go back and remove our easy ease and our animation, you're going to see that it's linear. Yeah, so what we're going to do here, we go back, we put our easy ease, you press F9 or go over right click, keyframe assistant, put on easy ease. So we're going to receive two mountains, and these two mountains are going to create space. They're going to create space between the animation, like it's going to create a smooth spacing and the nice time. Yeah, so when you play it, you can see. So I have an example of another one. So let's say that this one has no easing on it, and we play them together. You see what we get. Yeah, I hope you can see it. You can see the difference. You can see the spacing between here and here. So, and the timing is going to be different. The frames are the same, but the timing is going to be different. Yeah, the downer one is going to reach a little bit late, and the first one is going to be, the upper one is going to be a little bit faster. Yeah. So what do we do next after here? I'm going to show you another one, the downer one. If we put easy ease and we go into the advanced setting of it, but I'm going to go back to our first animation that we created and we test the same thing. Yeah, so if I come here and I put easy ease on it, which is F9 on your keyboard, so I'm going to try to move this guy over here and this one over here. We are going to receive these two, let's say they're pussycat ears. Yeah. So we're going to play and you see. So you see it has created space between, like these guys are all different. They all have easy ease on them. But when you go into the graph editor, you're going to have to modify it. One of the things that I've missed, let me talk about it, is when you open up the graph editor, you're going to find, you will have to, some of you guys, when you open up your After Effects and go to the graph editor, you find the edit speed graph. Yeah, but basically what I'm going to be focusing on is you find the edit value graph, but what I'm going to focus on is edit speed graph, which is over down here. You click on this guy and click on that guy. So as I've been showing you, when you try to play our animation, it's going to be a little bit faster, and it comes in faster, slows down, goes up, slows down, comes in faster, slows down, comes in faster. So when we try to play around with still these keyframes, let's see what we achieve. You see the spacing is a little bit messed up. Yeah, you can see it moving. So if you can see over here, the spacing is a little bit messed up. Yeah. So, but this depends on what you want to achieve. If you're dealing with animation that are going to be faster, you have to modify your frames. Let's play around with this. Yeah, let's just be crazy, kinda crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we get. You see, so it's like it's knocking something. Yeah. So if I try to take off this, you can see it. It's like knocking something. So, but it depends on what you're working on. Now, for example, we have here, for example, this is a ball that is being pushed to the wall. Yeah. So now this is, we are done with time and spacing. Let me go to this animation and show you how we can apply what you've seen over there. For example, we have this animation, it's basic, and this is like our rough work. So what we're going to do is to press easy ease, select our wall animation, we press easy ease, and we see what we achieve. Yeah, this is what we get. It's kind of basic, and yeah, for now that we can go with that. Then we are going to go to our graph editor, which is over here. We click on it. Now you can see we have two mountains. Yeah, so we're going to modify these two mountains for us to have a nicer animation that we can achieve. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drag and select. You see, most of you, if you have a computer that has a smaller screen, what you can do, you over here, this guy over here, it fits all the graphs to view. You just click on him and you're going to achieve this, so you can be able to get the handle well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one, this one, and I pull it over here. Let's see what we achieve. I hope you see now the animation is getting smoother. So let me show you the first animation that we had. That's it. So if we pull this guy again, that's what we achieve. Yeah, and it's kind of nice. So we're going to also pull this guy this side. We see what we get. Starting slow. Wow, that can be something that you would love to use on something, yeah, simple and basic. So what I'm going to go to next is bounce. How bounce works. Yeah, so bounce is mostly used on things that, for example, if something like a coin is thrown down, or a ball, or a tire, things like that. So we see bounce applied on such things. And here what I'm going to show you is that if you to create a bounce movement in your animation or in anything, you don't need to ease anything. You will not need to ease. If you have, for example, if you're animating something with a reference video, you will not need ease. And if we go frame by frame, you can see that our animation is going to be linear throughout. Let's see. It comes here, bounce off, again bounce off, again bounce off, and it's moving in a movement of from high to low. If you can see that, from high to low. Yeah, it's coming from this side, from high to low. Yeah, so if you select these keyframes and go to the graph editor, you're going to see something magical here. You see that these are like ladders. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's like you do not need easing on bouncing animations. You just have to create them and just have just use physics as it's supposed to be. So what happens if we put easing on it? Let me show you. If we select this and use our F9, that's what you get. It's like you're living somewhere. It's not even Earth. Yeah, that's what we get. But we're going to undo that and we play again. You see, that's our bounce. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to explain about that for now. Let me go to the next part, which is motion paths. Motion paths come in a way. For example, in nature, we see motion paths in snakes, trains. What else? For example, things, the little things that you know that have this kind of movement. Yeah, or even your hand can have this kind of movement if you try to play around with it in that format. Yeah, so how are motion paths dealt? How do we work on them? So this is what we have here. There are only 5 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames to achieve this cool something. Yeah. And what did I apply here? Here I used what they call rove across animation. What does rove across animation helps you with? It helps your animation go smoother and it's going to be clean. For example, let me first turn off our previews. So it's going to make your animation go smoother. So how do you achieve this? This is done on a position path, on position parameter. And for example, if we try to remove all the easings and we remove the rove across animation over here, what do we achieve? This is what we get. It's not bad, but it's not moving in a flow that we want. If you see that our bubbles that we created over here are not giving us the preview which we had over here for a smoother animation. Let me put them back on for a smoother animation that we had over here. So what we have to do is we're going to make sure we achieve that. And what we are going to do, you're going to select this keyframe. You press shift to select different keyframes, and this one and also this one, and we press F9. I hope you see the magic is happening now. So let's try to play around with that. It's having a little bit static movement somewhere over here. Like you can see that like the timing is stuck here. And how do you heal this guy? What you do, you click this keyframe that is in the middle and this one, then you right click and go to rove across time. So you click to rove across time and let's see what we get. Let's play our animation. It's still having the static movement somewhere. So what we do next is to attack the graph editor. Yeah. So what we're going to do here, we're going to come where our animation gets stuck. We click to this guy and we let me move this guy over here. What you're going to do, you're going to try to make it smoother. I hope you can see that now the ball is separating. Like the timing is separating polar and polar. Yeah. So these are the mountains that we are going to use to achieve the smooth animation. Yeah, so you have to come up with something like this. I've skipped the other part. Yeah, so you have to come up with something like this to have the smoother animation. It comes in they're like the same. If you play the animation, they're all going to be the same. So you have to make sure you play around with the graphs. So if you put them over here, let's see what we achieve. It's kind of the same, yeah. So we're going to stick on this. Yeah, so that's it for our easing. That's what I can show you for now about easing. So what we're going to go next, what we're going to look at next is I created a simple animation over here, and this is what we're going to create or recreate. We're going to create it together. I'm going to show you from the start to the end how you can achieve it. So let me try to play it and see and show you guys. Yeah, it has the start movement and the end movement. So this is what we're going to achieve. Yeah, and this is going to be our first example. We have 2 examples, and this is going to be our first example. So I'm going to show you how we achieve this. First of all, I'm going to go into Illustrator real quick, and I'll show you how I brought these guys to life. In our previous classes, Steve has been sharing with us more about Photoshop, and it's kind of the same workflow. If you have some knowledge about Illustrator, you can easily grasp this. And in the future, we're going to have someone is going to share with us Illustrator. Magisha Gordon will be sharing with us Illustrator, how you can easily use Illustrator. Yeah, so Steve has been showing us for Photoshop, and the workflow is kind of the same. So I downloaded this guy. From FreePic, and this is how it looked. So what I did, I had to separate everything because it was all in one thing. I had to copy these and separate them and give them layers, each element for each layer. So this is what I came up with. Yeah, so I came up with this. I think you can see my artboard, my layers panel over here. So I separated these shapes. So these shapes, I left them stuck because I'm going to separate them in After Effects. So I have my background over here. I have the figure, so I did it the same way. I hope you can see it. It's the same way. Yeah, so I separated the background plus the figure. Yeah, so we import them into Illustrator, into After Effects. Yeah, so we go to our folder. It's over here. I shared the files with you guys so you can follow along. So you go to Illustrator, so to After Effects. So this is what we have. If you're done separating everything, this is what you achieve. So what we're going to do now here is we are going to create shapes from these vectors. Yeah, these are called vectors, but we're going to create shapes from them. So we are going to select everything, and you right click, go here on create. You see create to editable text. We don't have text, shapes. So we have shapes. We have to create shapes from the vector layers. So you click on create shapes from the vector layers. So now you're going to receive something like this, and don't be confused or don't get scared. So what you're seeing here is that we've got duplicates, or we've got shapes from the vectors that we had before, and the vectors are being turned off. So before you do anything, what you're going to do, you're going to press Ctrl Alt and the upper arrow button, which the arrow on these 4 arrows. You're going to press Ctrl Alt and the upper arrow button. Yeah, you click on that, and you're going to make sure you put your shapes on top. In case you accidentally click and you need to select everything at once, if you can see these colors that they are different, what you will do, you're going to go here on this color. For example, if you want to select all of these, or if you want to delete these guys all at once, you go here to this color, right click, select, label, group, and click on it. After getting that, you just press delete. Or else, if you want to keep your files as a backup or what, you click Ctrl Alt and put them down. Yeah, but for now we are not going to need them, so we are going to have them deleted. So I'm going to lose them. Yeah, so once you have your files ready, so what we're going to do, we are going to create compositions. Let's call them sub compositions for each figure, and each figure is going to comprise, each composition is going to comprise of the figure, these shapes, plus the background. So how do you create a comp? What you do, you press Ctrl C, and when pressing Ctrl C, you're going to receive something. You're going to receive this pop-up, and when you receive this pop-up, sometimes you can get moments where you are going to, when this selection is going to be on, leave all attributes in the composition that you want to create a composition in. But what you have to do here, you have to move all attributes in the new composition, and we are going to rename that new composition figure 1 and press enter. And we're going to do that for the next figures. So our figure is put into a composition. So what we're going to do, we're going to select the others. As you have to remember that they have to be 3. Each figure is going to take 3 elements. So we press Ctrl, Shift, and C. Or else you come here, layer, pre-compose, Ctrl, Shift, C. So you see the same thing. We give this figure 2, and we go to the another one. Ctrl C, figure 3. You press enter. So what we're doing next, we are going to animate. So we have figure 1, 2. No, this is supposed to be 3. Sorry, supposed to be 3, and this is 2. Yeah. So we have our figures. So 3, this is 2 and 1. This is our background. This is our background. Yeah. So we're going to first go inside this composition, figure 1. And basically what we're going to do, we are going to do a simple animation. Let me open up Paint. So this is what we're going to do. We are having our background, we are having our shapes, and we are having our figure. This is our figure, for example. So the background, you're not going to animate it, it's going to stay static. So what we're going to do, our 3 figures, we are going to separate each figure on each layer. Each on each layer. For them to be 1, 1. Yeah. And our figure is going to stay as it is. Yeah, we're going to leave it as it is. So let's go back to the software. What we're going to do, we're going to come to these shapes. You can rename them for you not to have confusion while doing things. let's call them abstracts. Let me call it abstract. Press enter. So what you're going to do, you're going to duplicate it 2 times because we're having 3 shapes here. This is going to be the first one, and we press Ctrl D, 1, 2. Or else what you do to duplicate, you come here to file, here to edit, and come here where you see it, duplicate, which is Ctrl D. Yeah, I hope you get that. So what we're going to do, we're going to first turn off from the figure to the other divided shapes. We will leave the background as it is. So we are going to click on this little guy here. It's like a drop down menu. We click on it, we go to contexts. Then what we're going to do here, we only need one figure, which is going to be this guy. So we look for the guy, and the guy is here. So which means we're going to delete this one and this one. You click on them and delete them. So you're going to remain with one guy. But remember, we have to keep our anchor point at the center. You just press Ctrl, Alt, and Home. Or you double click by hovering. You press Ctrl and double click by hovering on the anchor point tool, or press Y to access it. So we are going to do the same. You turn off this one, you turn off back this one, do the same to the others. So we're going to look for the next shape. This is going to be our second shape. We will keep that, so we delete 3 and 1. Yeah, so we turn off our second one, abstract. So we go to the third one. So we want to keep only this guy. So we delete the others because we have them under. Yeah, so now this is done. So you come and check, but remember to keep your anchor point at the center. So we will check and see. This is 1, 2. I think you can see when they are highlighted. Yeah, so we can turn on everything that we have. Remember, the animation that we are looking at is this one that I first created. This is what we are looking at, and this is what we're creating. So after separating our shapes, if you see this first animation, this one, if you see it clearly, let me turn off these ones. If you can see it, when you see these shapes, some of the shapes come in on different intervals. So that's why we separated them for us to have that uniqueness in it. So we're going to turn on these guys back. So you go to our figure one that we are animating. So this is what I'm going to first do. I'm going to select the abstract and I'll press P on my keyboard, P. I'm going to select all of them and then I press P. So after that, I'm going to move forward. I will use my playhead and I move forward here, and I will create a keyframe. I will create keyframes on all of them by toggling on the stopwatch. So I click on the stopwatch, then I go back at the front. So coming back at the front, I'm going to look for, I'm going to click away from, like I'll deselect all of these. So what I'm going to do, I'll just grab each one of them, just like this, just like this. Yeah, remember we have to apply the principles that we talked about in the beginning. Easing, yeah. So now you see it's not smooth and it's just like something picked from a server. So what you're going to do is select this, press F9. I hope you can see that. We go to ease, but I'm doing this by selecting everything all at once. So we go back in here, we're going to ease. As I told you, I'll just drag it in for it to come in smooth. I hope you can see that. So yep, I hope that is okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to offset them. How do we offset them? We're going to select them and we count, okay, like starting from here, we drag them a little bit here. So we're going to use control to move 6 frames or 5. Okay, let's use 4. Control, you press control and move 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you deselect the first one and bring this one here again. 1, 2, 3, 4. You deselect and move this one. I hope you see that. Yeah, so after achieving that, let me drag them a little bit closer. Yeah, so after achieving this, we're going to animate this lady. So this lady is going to be coming from down. That's our position. As I showed you in the first place, we create 2 keyframes. So our lady is going to come from this side down like this. Yep. Ooh, like that. So we're going to ease. You go into this guy and we just pull that. That's enough for now. Yeah, that's what you can do for now. I hope you can see that. So you're going to add on rotation. You press Shift R to get the rotation by selecting on the figure. Yeah, Shift R. So I'm going to put in some bit of rotation over here. I'll use -66. Yeah, so it's not yet smooth, but if we ease it and we come here and we drag this guy, you'll see the magic happen. Hope you see that. So this is going to be our basic, and that's what we're going to build on. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to show you how you can create this card look. It's like a card kinda. This is how you can create this look by using mats. Yeah, so I'm going to show how you can use it. It's like by masking or using mats. So let's dive here. Let me first hide this background. So this is our first figure that we've animated. Let me first take away these guys to here. Don't get confused, please. So this is our first background. Yeah, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come here, like create a shape. Hope you guys understand how to create shapes. So you're going to come here and select the rectangle, rounded rectangle tool. So you click on it, and I'm going to come and draw over my thing here that I created, my first figure that I created. I'm going to make sure you calculate your things the way you want them. Yeah, so I'm going to do over there, and I'm going to put in some small animation on it, which will be scale. I'll move it from 0 to 100. Yep, like that. And I hope you can see it, guys. Yeah, so after there, I'm going to come and I put it down here. After, I'm going to give it a different color. Let's give it green. Yeah, we're going to give it a different color. Let me name it Met for figure 1. Met for figure 1. And that's it. So what we're doing next, you're going to go to your effects and presets panel, which is located over here. If you don't see it, you're going to come to window and look for it. So, or you just press Ctrl 5 for you to get it. So we have it over here, shifts and presets. So what we're going to search for set matte. So we get set matte and we drag it on our figure 1 that we created. So after putting it on our figure 1 that we created, you can either the simplest way of dropping the effect on what you want to put it on, you can either double click or drag. So let me just double click and it's already put on over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on our figure 1, and this set matte has take matte from layer. So it's going to ask you which layer do you want to use as the matte? So we have our layer that we named matte for figure 1, which is this one. So that's what we're going to use. Now we see our things have disappeared. You're wondering what's happening. So this is what we're going to do after that. We are only going to need to turn off the matte figure 1. How are we going to turn it off? By just clicking this guy. So it's going to turn off. Yeah. And let's try to play back and see what we've received. Hope you can see that. It's basic, simple, and you can create it. So let me try to give you a simple explanation about the mattes, how they work. Mattes work in a way that, for example, if I want to mask this guy, let me use a mask for now. If I have a rounded rectangle, if I want to do this, I'll just come and drag and mask it over here. The reason why I use the rectangle, no, the reason why I drew this guy, because I wanted to have make a smooth animation, but also here you can achieve it. Let's give it a go and see. For example, this is our animated. No, let me duplicate this one, which is already animated, and put it over here. So we remove the matte effect on it. Yeah, it's now like that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come and draw over it, something like this. Let me turn off this one also. I want to do something like this. So I'll just come and I do my mask path like this. Click here. I then press V. I double click anywhere on the mask. Then I press Ctrl and Shift to bring it in just like this for it to disappear. Yeah. So there are very many ways you can do it. Depends on what you want. Yeah, so this is what I get. So I ease my keyframes just like this. Hope you can see it. It's kind of the same thing. If you see here, it's the same thing. Hope you can see it. So that you can either use a mask or you use a shape layer. It depends on what you want to achieve. So what we're going to do, guys, I'm going to leave these other ones for you guys to do, to animate, but this is what we're supposed to achieve, something like this. And I provided the source files for everyone. So now, for instance, let me go into this one has 4 shapes, so you have to make sure you duplicate them 4 times. Let me give them some different colors for you to see. It's the same, sorry. So these are our shapes over here. Yeah, there are 4, so you have to make sure you duplicate them 4 times. Same applies to this guy. Yeah, so we provided the sources for you guys for the things to use, and there are also the link is in the description for you guys to go and download the files to use. So yeah, it's what you have to achieve. Make sure you work on it and share it in the community. So I'm going to leave these other parts for you. I hope you've seen. If you have any questions, leave them in the description, in the comment section. You will get answers, or in the community you will get answers. Our next example is going to be the Airtel poster that I created, so we're going to animate it. Let me go to it. So over here, it's not official. We just created it for us to demonstrate. Yeah, as you work with layers in Photoshop, it's the same thing you will find here. If I try to break down everything, let me start from the background. This guy, as we've been dealing with Photoshop, here we have in our layers, And let me first break it slowly. What I'm going to start with is I started with the background, which is white. Then I used the Airtel logo, this logo, to get this guy over here. What I did was to just mask it and put some feather over here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to collect the files and I share with you guys as it is right now here. Yeah. So I think Steve will share more on how to create something like this in After Effects, but I want to show you how you can animate it, and I'm going to share with you the files, the source files, for you to animate something like this. What we are going to animate. Yeah, it's going to be real quick. Yeah, stay on. Yeah. So what I'm going to start with, here we have our text, our subject, logo over here. Yeah, I changed this to from reason to imagine to reason to animate. Yeah, and also I put some kind of disclaimer here just in case. Yeah, so here we have this guy, we have our text, we have how do you deal with this? It goes back to what do you want to achieve, and if you understand what you want to achieve, you will easily go back to the basics and say that I want my animation to be fast, I want it to be slow, I want it to be like minimal, it's just there. So here what we want to achieve is something which is simple, which is going to be seen by the age group of from 18 to 50. Yeah, something which is simple. Okay, so I'm going to start by animating by bringing up this guy and this guy over here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to first pull my layers over here, and then I get the guy. This is the guy, plus my mask that I put on top of the guy. This one, yeah. And also my text. This is my text over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do something basic for now. Yes. So I want you guys to think of something that you can come up with. So let me explain something here real quick. What I did, I parented this get a student loan and acquire. I parented it to and acquire your dream laptop. If you try to move it around, these guys move together, but they are on a different layer. So this is the parent and this is the child. So how do you achieve this? You select the child. Let me put the child down, and you get the pick whip and you put it to the parent. This is the parent. Now as you have your arm, Steve, can you please mute your mic? Uh, as you have your body is the parent and your arm is the child. Or for example, if I want to move my arm like this, this is parented to this guy over here. Yeah, I hope you can see me. So this is parented to this guy over here. Yeah, and my body is the parent. So get a student loan today is our parent. If we move the parent, the child has to go with the parent. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to animate the text plus this guy. I'm going to put position keyframes on it, and also my mask over here. Then I move forward. I'm going to just get them to come from down like this. Let me move these guys. Yeah. Let me go back to 25 frames per second. I'm not use at 60. Yeah, let me use 25. Yeah. So this is what we are having. Yeah, this is something smooth, not yet smooth, sorry. So we're going to apply what we've seen, like easing. We're going to press F9. Then we go to our graph editor. We pull this guy over here. It's going to come in smoother, a little bit smoother. You can feel free to do it in any way you feel like you want. Now this is fast, it's not nice. Yeah. So, but we are targeting an age group of 18 to 45 or 50. Yeah. So we're having something like this. Yeah, it's getting smoother. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to offset what I'm having. I'm going to offset the mask and this guy a little bit. I'm going to make them come later, and we achieve something like this. I hope you can see it, guys. And you achieve something of this nature. Yeah. So after that, we are having our text. But what we can do else here, I wanted to show you a few text effects that you can normally use in case you're rushing, in case you're doing something real quick. There is one I use sometimes on, it's called slow fade on. It's inbuilt. Yeah. No plugin needed. Yeah. So you get your keyframes. It's called slow fade on. This is what it gives you. I think you can see it over here. Just keep your eyes on it. Yeah. It gives you some simple slow fade on effect. Yeah. I think you can see it. Yeah. So what we're going to do next here is to bring in, oh, we forgot this guy behind, but we're going to bring in the guy behind, this, the logo behind, together with the guy. Yeah. So what we're going to do is going to give it position. Click on our position, then we move down like here. We easy ease in. We select our frames, we easy ease in. Yeah, it's going to be coming in like that. So we're going to move him at the front a little bit. Yeah, but we want him to be smoother. Yeah, this is something basic that you can do in around 15 minutes. Yeah, it's done. So after here, we're going to put our slow fade on this text. Airtel is regulated by Uganda Communications, whatever. Yeah. So you're going to put on our slow fade on, and we make sure that we bring it over here. Yeah. So I think you can see it, but we have to make it smooth. Now this does not need easy. Yeah, it deals with opacity and how do I call it? Let me open it here. Opacity, and it has more advanced features in it. When you check here, which I think we shall have some simple tutorial. We shall have to create it soon about text animators. Yeah. Now to achieve smooth and text animations using text animators. Yeah. So for here, we are using a simple slow fade on. Yeah. I think I will not animate this guy here. This one, I'll just leave him there. So I think you can see what we are achieving. What we haven't animated yet is our logo. So sometimes these animations have the intro, the body, plus the outro. So ours didn't have the intro. Yeah. For it to have an intro, we would have started with this guy, for example, over here, and it goes up here, Then we bring in this one here, where he comes from this side or anywhere. Yeah. But what we're going to only add here, it's the outro. And the outro is going to be the Airtel logo. Yes, it's going to be Airtel logo. So if I move forward and I bring in these ones, I'll just use position of backwards. Yeah. And I easy ease. And I go to my graph editor real quick. In a few minutes, your animation is done. And when you try to animate it, to preview it, that's what you see. That's what you achieve. So we're going to move it forward, and let me just cut off this. I'm going to move it forward. Yeah. We're going to offset. We've offset it from the logo, the tagline. Yeah, from the logo. So this is what we have. Oops, let me bring it forward. Way to come in a little bit early. Yeah. So this is what we have. Yeah, real quick. So this is how we're going to create the outro. What we're going to do, we are going to bring in the grandmother. If you remember the parent that we had here, so we're going to bring in the grandmother. And the grandmother is going to be the null layer. And how do you get the null layer? You can easily right click here, or for example, you've not selected anything, just right click and go to new null layer, or come to here, layer, new null layer. Yeah, null object. And how can you, the shortcut key is Ctrl Alt Shift and Y. So let me just press that, Ctrl Shift Alt and Y. So this is our grandmother. Let me just name the null layer grandmother. So the grandmother is going to call the parents plus the children, yeah, the grandsons and daughters. Yeah. So what we're going to do now, this is our parent. Let me first show you something. This is our parent. If I put the parent to the grandma, can you see it? The parent is moving plus the child. Yeah, they're following the lineage. So we're going to also bring these guys over here. That's this guy, and we put them here. So I want us to have an outro of the Airtel logo only, for it to come from here down here. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to animate. The grandmother is going to take away all these guys from here. Yeah. So it easily is. Our time is out, but let me be real quick. Yeah. Easy ease and see what we achieve. Yep. And the grandmother takes them away. The grandmother has been rushing, so let's slow her down. Again, she's rushing. Yeah. Let me add on a few seconds. Let me give it like 10 seconds. 10. By the way these things work, you can use, for example, if you want to add on seconds here, you can just click here and just say +10 or minus or anything. Or if for example, I want to move this guy here, I'll just come to my position. This is my position, and if I say +10, have you seen that? Yeah, they work in an easy way that you can manipulate your keyframes and get what you want. So we are working on our grandma here. Yeah, the grandma is gone, so you have to bring this guy here. So our Airtel logo and the reason to animate, they are not together. So this is going to be our father, and the child has to go to the father. Airtel, yeah, has to go to the father. So if the grandma takes away all the grandchildren, we're going to click on the Airtel logo and we toggle our first keyframe. Then we move forward. We bring this guy over here. And remember, we're going to need the logo to be big. So we're going to press Shift and S. Shift and S to bring scale. So what we're going to do is to go back to this keyframe, which is that when the grandma and the grandchildren are still here. And how do you skip keyframes? You use K and J. You use J to go backward and K to go forward. I hope you can see it. I'm just pressing J and K to move between keyframes. So I'm going to go back to this keyframe where we've toggled it, and then I click on our scale, then I move forward. I try to make this guy a little bit big so you can modify it the way you want, as long as you're here where you can. If for example you're here and you try to move things, play them around, they're going to be very terrible. So you have to make sure you're at the exact point. So let me try to make this, and I'm going to ease both of them, because these guys had copied the ease of the first animation. But if you want to bring it in another way, you just have to ease, and it will change automatically. When you go to the graph editor, you will see it. And we don't want it to be very fast. We're going to just do something little here. I hope you can see it. So that's going to be our outro. Yeah. So you're going to bring in these guys, so on, and that's it. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to share this working file with us, guys. But if you have questions about anything what we've been learning today, feel free to ask. Next, what we're going to handle is let me open it. Sorry about that. I'm trying to save, but we are good. I'm going to share the working files with you. Next, what we are going to work on is a WhatsApp animation. That's I shared some of the animation with you guys. So let me show you what I created, and I want us to recreate it again together. Yeah, it's more of paths, and so this is what I created. Yeah, so I want us to recreate together because it's more of paths, and it's more of it's kind of complex. Yeah, let me first remove this. That was the reference that I was working with. So this is what I created. Let me make it full screen. Make it full screen. Yeah. So I want us to recreate these guys together soon. I don't know when, but we have to create time and recreate this together. Something simple and achievable. Yeah. So I'm going to share the working files of what we've been working on. I'm going to share the working files with us. Yeah. Everything is put in here. I'm going to share with you guys. And what I'm going to show you, something else, is how you can export something real quick. For example, you have media encoder. Media encoder, for example, if you have After Effects 2022, you must have media encoder 2022. So if I click Ctrl M over here, and I give my folder a directory where it's going to go. For example, I'm going to call this is 4. call it my renders. Yeah. So I put here, I have to make sure you're organized. You give it a name over here, you save. After that, you click on Queue into Adobe Media Encoder. Sometimes you can click render, but render it's going to give you a QuickTime format. QuickTime format is a MOV format. So when you click here, you're going to be able to convert it into MP4 and it will be in a smaller size. So I'm going to export two files at the same time and we see. This is our file. It's 6 MBs as you can see here, and it's on higher quality. Yeah. Press OK and click render. You're going to get it real quick. If I also render this as it is, you will see it. Yeah, I'm going to show you the difference. It's also rendered. So if I go to my files which I have saved, here, my renders. The first one is you can see here, it's 2.97 MBs, and this one it's 92 MBs. I hope you get the difference, and it's MOV, this is MP4, so they are all nice. Now this is what we've exported. It's cool and nice. Yeah. Same applies to this, but for you to be able to play QuickTime videos, you have to have the QuickTime player on your computer. Yeah. So now questions are very welcome. Yes. Yes, Jackson.
Yes, Chris.
Yes.
Thank you for today. This is really great. But I've noted down just a few questions that I would want you maybe to elaborate more.
Yeah.
Now, this issue of frame rates.
Yeah.
How do I know that I'm supposed to use 60 or 25? And then another question goes on parenting. So when I'm parenting, like how I've seen get alone and then like a subtitle, which layer do I animate? The parent layer or everything? And then another thing I would want you to talk about is the mate thing. Is there any way I can mask without using the mate?
Yeah.
And lastly, is about how you have created this new comp. We would love to know more about how you're duplicating and how you're separating everything. Probably, if it is possible, you could get some other time and show us how we can separate maybe the remaining two before we go into the exercise.
Okay.
So that's what I was suggesting. Otherwise, this is deep.
All right. Thank you, Jackson. So,
thank you.
When you're parenting, let me answer that. When you're parenting, as I've told you, when my body is the parent, and the arms, the mikono, they are the children. So if my body moves, my arms are also going. They're also going to move. So you're supposed to animate the parent. Let me get an example here. So yeah. So this is the parent. Let's call parent. This is our parent. Let's create the child. This is our child. Our newly born child. So let's create around 2 or more children. Yeah. So these are enough. So our parent is at the top, and the children are down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select both the children and get the pquip and parent it to the parent. Okay, I hope you can see that. So wherever the parent will go, the children will also go. And even the children, they can also play around in any way they want. So let me try to animate the rotation for the children. Okay. So these are the children. So if the parent wants to dance, let me do this. Up, down, and up. So if the parents wants to dance, the children will be, let me make this, let me put this. The children will be moving together as they are doing their thing, and the parent is also dancing. They dance together. Yeah, I hope I have answered that, Jackson. Why I need to go, I need to explain more about that.
Yes, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, and the other thing, frameworks, frameworks depend on what you're working on. For example, let me just open up Premiere Pro right now and show you something real quick. If I'm working on a project, let me show you certain project over here. Okay, let me open up this real quick. So if I'm working on a project, and what I'm only going to need is to put in this graphic, this graphic.
The Play Store and click on Play Store and click.
If I'm going to put this graphic in Premiere Pro, now let me see the sequence setting of this thing. It's 25 frames per second. And if I go and click on this guy that I've imported, the guy is no, it's not the one. Let me see. Yeah, it's the one. So here I used 30 frames. Yeah, but 30 frames are also okay with 25. But you may want to, if, for example, if you're working on a slower computer, I've ever experienced a challenge where I put 60 frames and 25 frames, and the computer slows down and they're not compatible with each other. So here you can choose. You can say I'm going to go with 25 or I'm going to go with 60. So it depends on what you want. Yeah. Or 30 or anything. And it depends on what you want to achieve. So for example, if you want to receive to do some cartoonish like stop motion kind of something, we shall go with 8 to 12. I hope you see that. I think if you watch some cartoons, things are playing like this. Yeah. The other question, remind me about the other questions.
I was saying,
Yes.
my question comes there in that comp, the subcomps.
Yeah, subcoms.
Yeah, to
So
separate and duplicating. I saw you duplicating like 3 times and deleting some stuff. And then I was like, if time allows, maybe some other day and show us how we can do on those remaining 2.
yeah,
Because
I think
yeah,
we shall work on that. Yeah. Thank you for bringing it up. Guys, if you have any questions, kindly raise up your hand and we see how we go about it before we close the class. Do you have questions, guys? Okay, so I'm going to share with us some document here. it's kind of detailed. It's small, but it will help us get some basic understanding. Yeah. So I created it, and it's one of the things that I've been looking up to as I've been going through everything. So I'm going to share with us this for us to go through it as we also practice. Yeah, I hope it will help us. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the group after this class. Yeah. So if you guys don't have any questions, I think we call it a day. Yeah. But we have more coming in, and it's my first time to share. Yeah. And I want to thank Steve for encouraging me to do this. I was a little bit nervous, but Steve gave me the courage to come here and share with you guys. I'm not that kind of person who always shows up and share, but I'm coming out, yeah, to share good stuff with us guys, and I also love to learn from you guys. What you do, yeah, we shall share together and we learn together. Yeah, thank you so much, Steve, for this chance, and I think you guys, you've gotten something. Yeah, if you have anything that you want to say, the floor is open. You can say anything. Yeah. If you want to say anything, you can raise up your hand. If it's not a question, say anything, then we close the class. Okay. I think we're going to call it a class unless Steve needs going to share something. Yeah. I hope you guys you've learned something. It wasn't that much rich, but I think it has been helpful. Yeah. So Steve, do you want to say something before we close?
Not really, except that the class is going to be uploaded, so people can always go back and make some reviews just in case you're working on the exercises or something of that sort. So yeah. Otherwise, tomorrow we shall continue with the class. You guys can later post some of the questions just in case you're watching or something in the group, so that they're literally tackled when we are having the next class. So this week we are literally closing all the classes. I think we are stopping this Friday. So we are having we'll continue tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Friday. Yeah. So just continue to do the classes. Yeah, do some of the courses. Now, as you've seen, at times we have a lot of speed and tackle a couple of stuff. We've tackled noun layers, we've tackled mates, effects like set mate and all that kind of stuff. So I think we normally love to share tutorials to do with whatever we tackled, because at times in this kind of period we don't have at least much time to explain all that kind of stuff. So please watch those tutorials when you share them, because they're very important for your understanding. All right. Yeah. Otherwise, thank you for being on the class. I'm just going to ask one of us to pray for us as we close the class. So Philippa, could you please pray for us?